Yes, so we are here in sunny San Diego. Not so sunny.
I just learned about May Gray.
Probably he himself will be able to tell us, what are the organizations that he has been so passionate about, and relentlessly he's working on them, and meeting with people one-on-one. How many celebrities will you find that they meet people one-on-one, interact with them, and literally touch their heart? It's so hard to do that in a busy schedule that he has. Okay, so I give the stage to Vivekji.
Thank you to everybody for coming at such short notice. I mean, it was your initiative. You just suddenly messaged me, and I said, "Haan, main hu," and I don't know much about the geography. Still discovering a little bit about California, but she was like, "Aap yahan hain, and then let's try and catch up." And I said, "Okay, let's figure out a way to do this." So it was really sweet of you to host it, and all of you to come by. And Ekal is a very special place in my heart. It was, I think, 2015, 14 or 15, when our Honorable Prime Minister was speaking to me about it, telling me how passionate he is about Ekal himself.
Okay.
He has a very, very high regard for the organization and the impact that it does. So he's completely aware. And Pradeep Bhai reached out to me and said, "Yaar, ye hum kar rahe hain. Friends of Tribal Society ka bhi kaam chal raha hai, so you must come." And it started out with just having heard it from such an important source. And then when Pradeep Bhai called me, I said, "Okay, I should go." And I went there. I remember I was shooting, and I wrapped up and reached. And I was so impressed with the organization and the things that are actually happening on the ground. And then I got involved. I said, "Any time for Ekal, aap batao kab, kahan, kaise." And he said, "Chalo, let's start." And we started working on a few projects, a few fundraisers. And then it was amazing because I think when I was in Assam just before COVID, or it was between the first wave and the second, I had gone there on a culture mission to Assam. We were doing something for preservation of local culture. And I suddenly got a call from Pradeep Bhai saying that, "Yaar, hamara Ekal ka yahan pe bahut zabardast center hai. It's about 45 minutes from where you are. Would you like to go?" And I said, "Bilkul."
He keeps tags on you.
Yeah, he does. He knows exactly where I am. He messages me. So he sent me a message, and I said, "ठीक है, मैं जाता हूँ." And I cleared my schedule, and I physically went into an Ekal Vidyalaya, and that was an amazing experience. मैंने photos देखी थी. I had met a lot of the volunteers. हमारे जब मुंबई वगैरह में events होते हैं, तो they fly them in from different places to talk about their experiences. The beneficiaries come. But when you physically go to the location, आप वहाँ जाकर अपनी आँखों से देखते हैं कि यार ये है विद्यालय, और वहाँ के बच्चों के साथ. I was supposed to be there only for half an hour, 45 minutes. I think I almost missed my flight back because I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to hang out with them and chat with the children, and I learned so much about that from there. So that to me was actual action on the ground. There is an option. हम कह सकते हैं कि लोगों को करना चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट को करना चाहिए, सरकार को करना चाहिए. वो होता नहीं है. आई थिंक हमारी जिम्मेदारी है, हमें करना चाहिए, हमारे देश के लिए, हमारे लोगों के लिए. एंड दैट्स द रीजन व्हाई आई एम हियर, बिकॉज द मोर वी कैन स्प्रेड द वर्ड, द मोर इम्पैक्ट ऑन द ग्राउंड. It's amazing. See, I believe that when you are donating to an organization like Ekal, you're not giving, you're getting. Because the whole world, and this is something I truly believe in, this is what I teach my children. I feel that the whole world is divided into two kinds of people. Those who need help and those who can help. And you could be in any one of those buckets any time of the day. God forbid, if you're in an accident or an emergency, there could be somebody who doesn't have your wealth or your power or your knowledge or your wisdom, and yet be the one to help you and save you in that moment, right? So you could be in that bucket any time, and just imagine how you feel when somebody helps you in that moment, when you need it, when a loved one is ill, when there is an emergency, and someone comes there and says, "I'm here to help you," selflessly. Imagine that feeling, and now put yourself in the position that you could be that someone every single day without having to do the effort that say somebody like me would do, where I would physically go on the ground, I would go to a village, I would actually see how the work is going. I would go and live during the tsunami for 9 months of my life to rebuild 3 villages over there from scratch, and I was there less than 48 hours after the tsunami hit. So I was there in ground zero when people were saying there could be a pandemic, there could be an epidemic, there could be all kinds of disease spreads. Why are you going there? But I was there working on the ground. But what about karmic investments? I believe that Ekal is a karmic investment. I truly believe that. So, you know, when Pratibha Didi was telling all of you a few minutes ago that वो क्या क्या करते रहता है. My mom also feels like that sometimes. She said, क्या क्या करेगा? She's very proud of me, but she feels कि क्या क्या करते रहता है. I'll share a personal experience. I think you know this, but I went to visit Banke Bihari ji and take darshan at the temple. And I don't know if all of you know, छप्पन भोग की मिठाई तो बहुत सुनी है, लेकिन छप्पन भोग is actually a puja. Yes. So वहाँ पे श्री कृष्ण को 56 तरह के भोग, 56 टाइप के अलग अलग मिठाई वगैरह खिलाए जाते हैं, चढ़ाए जाते हैं. I was doing the 56 भोग पूजा, and पूजा लंबी हुई, बहुत अच्छे से हुई, और जो पंडित जी थे वो तो खैर तो सामने दक्षिणा वगैरह देख के बोलते ही हैं कि बहुत अच्छी गई है पूजा. और हॉटलाइन पे मुझे फोन आया है कि कृष्ण भगवान बहुत खुश हैं. तो ठीक है, I mean jokes apart, but he was saying कि क्या मांगना चाहते हैं आप, आपको मांगना चाहिए. And I was in a moment of I think a human moment of frailty and greed, right? कि क्या मांगू, पैसा मांगू, फिल्म की सक्सेस मांगू, अपॉर्चुनिटी मांगू, क्या मांगू. एंड उतने में किवाड़ खुल गए, right? They just opened everybody gets Hindi, right? Yes. So उतने में किवाड़ खुल गए, and the curtains opened and I could see the Lord radiant and beautiful, and वो एक energy, एक ऊर्जा जो उमड़ कर आई, and I felt it so strongly, and in that moment I felt so humbled, and I said, मैं कैसे मांग सकता हूँ, मुझे इतना कुछ दिया है. And immediately it just turned from asking to offering gratitude, to saying शुक्र है भगवान तेरा, कितना कुछ दिया है मुझे, and I can't ask, I need to thank you first for everything you've already given me. And in that moment the only one thing that came to my mind, अगर कुछ मांगना है तो मुझे सेवा का मौका दे. And that's not the wow part. The wow part is what Krishna does later. He's very naughty and very he has his own ways of मैंने बोल दिया और उन्होंने पकड़ लिया. Okay, I left the temple, and as soon as I left the temple I met this Gora Sant, this white man obviously who was in saffron clothes, झोला वोला लेके, धोती वोती पहन के, कुर्ता कोटी, and he was saying Vivek bhaiya, I need your help, आपकी मदद चाहिए. And I thought पैसे मांगेगा. This is our assumption, right? Because we think money is everything, so that is our assumption. And he said, I don't need your money, almost like he could read my mind. So I was like, okay. And my security guys were saying, because Banke Bihari is बहुत सकरी गलियां हैं बहुत, so they were like, निकलना है यहाँ से, चलिए. Crowds were shouting, screaming, and in all of that, photo चाहिए, ये वो सब. In all the middle of that, I'm talking to this Sant who's sitting there and standing there, and he's saying कि if you come right now, we'll be able to save the lives of a lot of girls. I was like, okay, what's going on here? And I don't know what happened, but in that moment, I realized that अभी अंदर मैंने कहा था सेवा का मौका देना, and अभी सामने से कोई मदद मांग रहा है. And I asked my security detail, I was like, ये जगह कहाँ है? Said, sir, यहाँ नहीं जा पाएंगे, गाड़ी नहीं जा पाएगी, गली बहुत छोटी है. Literally, I've gotten into a rickshaw and I've gone with this guy, and my security guys have panicked, ये कहाँ गए हैं? But it was an incredible experience, because that evening, through that process, we ended up rescuing 33 girls who were being sold the very next day into child prostitution. जो हिंदुस्तान में अभी भी बहुत होता है, child marriage के नाम से they sell girls, right? They're sold into बंधुआ labor, they're sold into child prostitution. भाई बैठो यार सैम. तो so that happened, and that one thing led into one moment of just a decision कि ये करना है. वो कहते हैं ना, एक कदम रखो बाकी सब अपने आप हो जाएगा. एंड पता नहीं कैसे बैठे बैठे वहाँ से स्कूल भी बन गया, और बच्चियाँ भी आ गईं, और लोगों को रेस्क्यू करते करते प्रशासन ने भी बहुत मदद कर दी, पुलिस वाले भी मदद करने लग गए, एंड बाकी छोटे छोटे जो NGOs हैं वो भी हमारे साथ आ गए, जुड़ गए, एंड धीरे धीरे करते एक मूवमेंट बन गया जिसका नाम हमने रखा प्रोजेक्ट देवी. देवी क्योंकि ये बच्चियाँ जो हैं, बुरा उनके साथ हुआ, लेकिन दे फेल्ट, इवन दो दे वर वायोलेटेड, दे वर अब्यूज्ड, दे फेल्ट दैट दे वर अनक्लीन, समथिंग वाज रॉन्ग विद देम, हम अपवित्र हैं. तो उनकी मानसिकता को बदलने के लिए वी सेड आप सब देवियाँ हैं, एंड वी एम्पावर्ड देम थ्रू दैट थॉट. देन वी गेव देम फ्री फूड, फ्री एजुकेशन, फ्री हेल्थ केयर, and it's taken 14 years, but now in 16-17 villages around Vrindavan, in the last decade almost, there's been no child marriage, no child prostitution. Thank you. And over the last 14 years, almost 10,000 girls have been benefited through malnourishment programs, कुपोषण हटाने के लिए, through digital literacy, education, learning computers, being able to go in for further education, further studies. कुछ गांव ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे भी लड़के वो कभी नहीं गए कॉलेज, सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन कभी नहीं हुआ उनका, और हमारी लड़कियाँ जा रही हैं. हमारी लड़कियाँ यूपी स्टेट में, when I started finding out about our girls not feeling strong enough, हमने उनको बेसिक सेल्फ डिफेंस सिखाने के चक्कर में कराटे वगैरह शुरू किया, मार्शल आर्ट शुरू किया. वो तो जाके यूपी स्टेट लेवल के रिकॉर्ड्स तोड़ रही हैं. You know, they are getting medals, and it's an amazing feeling. So what I'm thank you. So what I'm saying is that God has been very kind to all of us. That's why we are here today.
God chose the right person to be in there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but I only know that you have to be in surrender.
Yeah.
You have to be willing. आप पात्र बनो तो ही उसके अंदर कुछ डालेंगे. तो I feel कि 20 years in the industry now. I've done 50 plus movies and shows, and by the grace of God, I think I have 42 or 43 recognized awards and all of that. But the truth of it, and I was mentioning this yesterday also, is that the truth of it is that those awards are lying on a shelf. That every once in 15-20 days my mom or my wife say, यार इसका थोड़ा पोंछ पाछ के ना थोड़ा धूल हटा देते हैं इसको, ना मिट्टी हटा देते हैं इस पे से, and that's what it is. But these girls, the girls we rescue, the kids that we give education through Ekal, the people that I helped build a school in after the tsunami, these are the living breathing awards in my life. Because कहीं ना कहीं तो ऐसे होता है. Like I remember almost, I don't know, 10-15 years after the tsunami, the day it happened, I was talking on a function for Habitat for Humanity in Delhi, where we were trying to, remove slums and build homes for the poor. And suddenly there was one kid who just started shouting in Delhi, Vivek Anna, Vivek Anna, and I was very confused. I was like, who's saying Vivek Anna in Delhi, And then he came up and he was so emotional, and the security tried to stop him. I said, आने दो यार, उसको क्या बात है, पूछो. And then he said, I just want to say that today I am here, I've got a job, I work in Delhi, and I'm that kid, one of those kids that you saved after the tsunami, you gave us an education, you helped us build a school. I didn't expect to hear or see that. But that, I can't tell you, fulfilled me so emotionally. इतना अच्छा लगता है ना. So I always tell people that this is a high that has no hangover. It's an amazing high. So this is it, guys. That's all I wanted to share with you tonight, and then now we can open the fireside.
May Almighty keep blessing you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your generosity last night.
Oh, that like you are amazing person. Like you said, that you can go there in the field. I don't think I can handle all that. But just to see that somebody can go there and do the job, for us, to give the opportunity to those kids who will probably otherwise won't have, that was one point. That's how we got connected. And when we came to San Diego, we met Pratibha ji, and anybody who meets her once, it's like, But she kind of pulled me in more and us. And then the one group came to perform from Ekal, remember?
Yes.
I was so moved because I asked them, where are you from? All of them stood in line, 20 of, and they were very talented. Really? They performed and they said, मैं यहाँ से हूँ, मैं यहाँ से हूँ. They were so humble and they were full of gratitude that, somebody helped them, like you said. And now they have become performers. And then they did the Hanuman Chalisa for the family. So they had the spiritual side,
Yes.
And I said, wow, look at how many people they are helping, Ekal people. And then we visited a village, just like you did. And our nephew, he was like, ये organization तो सब ऐसे होते हैं. So I said, no, don't worry, just you come with us, So let's go find out. And so we went, and just like you said, all those little girls in Punjab, they were so disciplined, these kids. They were like 5-6-year-old, but they were just, it just moved our heart also. And then our nephew had a complete change of heart. He was like, wow, this organization. So वो गया था एकदम doubt से. और वापस आया, so he was like all praises. He said, oh, I didn't know that these people exist and do these kind of things. So that's how more and more, we got connected.
It's a very committed organization. I really truly believe eventually will be the true differentiator, because it will start creating Grameen economy. It will start creating rural economy, help village level entrepreneurs come up. I mean, there's some amazing examples of Ekal Upaj. I mean, my favorite one is, in one of the villages in Odisha, they found the highest. Abhi aajkal curcumin is the hottest nutraceutical.
Curcumin king
right?
is sitting here.
Oh, really?
There you go.
He's the one who did this also.
The highest effective ingredient in terms of the curcumin, and that वो एकल का जो हल्दी है, वो हल्दी मेरे घर आता है.
वाह, मुझे भी चाहिए.
I love it. It's amazing.
I think we have
Yeah. So Bharat ji is a scientist.
Wonderful.
And he has written books on haldi.
He's the one who introduced this into the West.
Yes.
Haldi.
Wow.
So you have to
curcumin king.
Yes,
the curcumin
आज
king.
उन्होंने पीला रंग नहीं पहना, नहीं तो इनको हल्दी राम कहते हैं. मैंने हल्दी राम नंबर 2.
नहीं, ये हेल्दी वाले हैं, ये हेल्दी
Healthy Ram.
Yeah, we'll get him the book today.
can get him. So he has his book, Healing Spices.
Oh, wow.
It's a fantastic book, and his research on all these spices from India is mind-blowing.
Amazing.
Yes, so he is. In fact, we forgot to introduce him in the right manner to everybody. Yeah.
There's one more connection, Krishna. We
Krishna.
are also Krishna devotees. And so when you talked about Bhakti Bihari and then how Krishna blessed, I said, now I know why you are here.
Pitambradhari.
Yes.
That is Bhagwan Krishna. Pita means haldi. The one who wears haldi stained clothes is Pitambradhari.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So there are just like a Vishnu Sahasranam, there is a Haldi Sahasranam. Haldi Sahasranam. And like Madhu Nashini. Madhu means sugar. Nashini means destroy, anti-diabetic. Rubber Gavasa. Rubber means fat. Gavasa means disappears. So that is Haldi. So Haldi is healthy. So apparently, we have a whole poster over here, and I just want to kind of give you a little bit idea. First of all, I want to thank you for coming. We feel very, very honored that you are here. Number one. Number two, that my family came as a refugee, quote unquote refugee, from Pakistan in 1947.
Mine too. Yes.
Oh, look at that! What a connection.
My father was a babe in arms.
So there is a Baga border you might
Cool,
have
of
heard
course,
of.
yes.
So we crossed the Baga border and we got settled right there. A place called Batala near Amritsar.
I know Batala, yeah.
And Batala is, so you know Batala.
I know.
And you know the history of
Yeah,
Batala.
of course.
And so because we were refugees, we had nothing to eat, no place to live. We did not know where to go. I was not even born. I was the first product of independent India. And I tell people that's why my parents name me Bharat. Independent Bharat. So that's my name. Okay. So all my older brothers and sisters were born on Sheikhupura, which is on Pakistan side. And so they settled on this side, and we had nothing to eat, no place to. So they said, any place you see something empty, just take it over. Empty house. So they did, and then in the middle of the night we heard some noises. And where those noises were coming from, in the attics Muslim people were hiding. And they were too afraid to come out that they might get killed. So my family helped them to escape in the middle of the night. And okay. So and then as I said, we had nothing to eat, so we were making grocery bags and those lafafa, those, so, and to sell so that we can make some money so that we can buy something to eat. So we, as my wife Uma mentioned, that we visited a school, Ekal school, near Batala. And it was quite an experience. And it was unbelievable. And there was it
Before the pandemic.
Just before the pandemic.
And it took about 2-3 hours to get there because it was inside somewhere. Because
that's the thing about Ekal. We reached to the last person on the line, in the
last
remote,
mile.
Last mile, because even the government is not able to set up schools there.
There are so many Ekal schools जहाँ पे roads नहीं जाते.
Right.
So they have
चल
to
के जाना
walk
पड़ता है.
miles.
Yeah, and there was some कार्यकर्ता came and he was guiding us. हम लोग तो बिल्कुल जा नहीं पाते अकेले. That's what impressed me, that that how it is, that whole network is there.
So that is what turned us on when we came to Houston. Apparently I graduated, there is only one college called Bering Union Christian College. So that's where I went and did my pre-medical, and then I came to Delhi University, and that is where I did my BSc, and then I came to Banaras Hindu University, and then to University of California, Berkeley. So that is where I graduated in 1973. And then there is a guy, some of you may have heard of, Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs had a friend, Bob Swanson. They both were class fellows. They both came from Harvard to the Bay Area. And one started Apple, another started Genentech. And apparently I got hired by Genentech, and within a week after I joined, they wanted me to find a cure to cancer. So I said, wait a minute, I don't even know how to spell cancer. They said, that's why we hired you. So apparently, they were very, very close, both Bob Swanson and Steve Jobs. So I was the first one to isolate a factor that cure cancer. And as you know, that a lot of things work in the test tube, lot of things work in the animals, but we are neither test tube nor animal, we are humans, so it has to be tested in human. So that is what took me to what is called MD Anderson Cancer Center. Now it is the #1 cancer center in Houston, and they put it into the cancer patients, and all the patients responded, but they got more sick than ever before. It made cancer worse rather than better. So that is where I discovered haldi can completely shut it down. So as of today, that molecule that we discovered, TNF, inhibitors have been approved by the FDA with the market over $50 billion a year, and haldi can do the same.
Amazing.
So we have written over 200 papers on haldi alone, and there is a place here called Point Loma. So I tell some of the people, Vasco da Gama people heard of, and Christopher Columbus people heard of, but the guy people have not heard of is Jose Cabarrillo. So this is the guy who discovered San Diego. He is the one who discovered California, and he was the one also. All these three guys were looking for spices. All these three guys, and only one ended up. One discovered America, other discovered California, and third guy discovered India and Goa. So that's where he ended up, Vasco da Gama, and they were all. So people knew, and that was 500 years ago. People knew even then that what the spices can do. So now she will give you the book called Healing Spices, how spices can heal, and there are 50 different spices, and all I can tell you, add spice to your life. Okay, and so
Thank you for such a amazing, talk to know more about
so
you.
it is only when I came to Houston, I learned about Ekal, and I got involved immediately because it reminded me of my own background, where I was coming from.
Back to the roots. Yes. Yes.
So we've been involved with the Ekal, I don't know exactly, for long time. Yeah.
Right. And
So,
over the years, you
and
have
the first
donated
thing when we
millions of
decided to,
dollars. Yeah,
first
thank
thing when
you.
we decided to come to California, and while we were still in Houston, we discovered, Pratibha Goyal ji, because, we are interested in Ekal. Without Ekal, so that's how we got connected from the very beginning, and made sure that she's there, and she was the first person we knew here in San Diego.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very
we
much.
feel very good, and I think that feel very honored that you are here
My
and
pleasure.
helping the whole organization, and I think that this is the best thing that we can ever do. Thank you.
That's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So I would now like to focus on Mukesh Bhai as to how why did you donate an Ekal on wheels? That's what he did last year. Donated an Ekal on wheels it is equipped with computers, and it goes from village to village and teaches children.
I'm committed this year the same
You are committed again. Oh, so we have a second Ekal on wheels.
for 5 more years.
So 5 more years. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you, Mukesh Bhai. That is really. We have just started. Okay, so you want to tell us why did you choose Ekal on wheels and not the other projects?
I mean, thank you, Vivek, to be here, and I think you are an amazing story, but we never knew about that, and we knew our dad because of the Om Shanti Brahma Kumaris, but we've been here for last 4 years, so had kind of left the touch with Indian movies and stuff like that. But we just moved to San Diego about a year ago, and here is our Pratibha Jhansi ki Rani, a freedom fighter or Ekal fighter, we can say that.
Yes, she's the
I mean, she
ये
is
क्या
so
है दीदी, कोई
amazing.
सैन डिएगो की रानी बोलता है, कोई झांसी की रानी। चलो रानी तो कॉमन है।
ये सब मुझे खजूर के पेड़ पे चढ़ा रहे हैं।
And no, I mean, we had done, I just got her in contact with her last year, and then we were so fortunate to have her and Ekal with us here.
Learn more
And I'm a pharmacist. We had a business in El Centro, California. We just recently sold, and part of the reason our kids moved here in San Diego, and then definitely my goal is to head back home, because I came in this country with $11 in my pocket, with zero tuition in my master of the pharmacy. Practically, the education is so free over there in those days, and I owe the country back whatever I made out of this country's fortune. So this is our start, and
Like I said, we are new into this.
yes,
charities
but
and
we
stuff.
will be
We are learning.
Yeah, we will be promoting, helping, volunteering, active volunteering, moving to Mumbai if necessary. If he allows me this time, I would mind to help
he
him
doesn't
to
want to give his
his
pedestal away to anybody else. Yeah.
I would love
But
to
we
visit some
would
places,
would
love
be
to visit.
dedicated rest of our life for that.
Oh,
right?
nice.
You know, I mean, absolutely from my heart
We
I'm
like-
saying
we love
that.
what Ekal does, definitely.
So we
for
can do
young
more,
kids.
much more than what we've been doing right now,
It's amazing.
and we need active participation, and we will, with your
need your
help,
support, yes.
we will do that. So,
We'll definitely help you fulfill your dreams. Yeah.
and the Ekal on Wheel, I think to me the education brought me here, made me such a successful person, because I did my masters in India, and I saw that without education, absolutely, for the kids down that level of villages, has no future, and they've been probably, their parents might be exploiting them because they are not helping the parents that much, and they are not bringing any money for the family. So they are so dependent at certain age of education level age, and they are still dependent on their parents. So as I was talking to Vivek in the car, that he has an ideas of putting those students who are graduated on Ekal on Wheels or any local
Schools,
computer system has to remain to be there in that same village or nearby
Correct.
village rather than urbanization.
and, yeah.
Because that is more important than education itself.
true.
It has to go parallel.
Very
Otherwise it will be a disaster. It's already getting a disaster of the big cities are getting bigger and then smaller villages are getting emptied, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And the smaller villages need more help because 70% of the field workers in farmers are in India, right? 70% of the population is still rely on the farming. So if their kids gonna be moving out, what they gonna do? You know, so I think we need to have some approach, in particularly in the farming area or the save the soil by,
by Sadhguruji.
Sadhguruji. Combine those two things together and make sure that they initially provide them for up to 5 years of the financial aid so they can be on their
So
hand.
that's what Bharatji and Umaji is supporting the Gramathan. The Gramathan is
Game
something
changer.
that will help them with the organic farming and how they can sell those products. So they're going to create a system where the products can go to the market. So then the people will stay there,
Stay there.
and the computers will help them with high technology how to take it to the next level and the next level, you
Right,
know.
right.
So that's why the digital learning is very important in these
Absolutely
villages.
right, yes.
Yeah.
No, so,
So-
I mean, you are right, absolutely. We need to work together, and I
Absolutely.
pledge all these people standing here that
They should also
anybody,
join
if
up
they
in the
need, I
occasion.
can pledge 10 more $365. If anybody wants to put 365,
Yeah.
I'll match it for them.
Oh, nice. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Yeah,
So at least it will hold for one school for 1 year right there. So,
yeah. In fact, they can all support projects over here. Everybody
Yes,
who's
yes.
here, not
no,
just
make sure this
365.
is apart from
Apart
what we are
from
on
the
19th
project,
of
yeah,
June,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
19th of June, they need to keep the wallet open, right?
Thank you, Vikesh. Right.
But,
So I will
thank you
now
to
like
everybody,
to go
right?
on to Ravi Hanumaraji. He got connected to Ekal a few years ago too. And yeah, he has also pledged many schools and into literacy, and why should he? So we would like to hear from him himself.
First of all, thank you, Vivek ji, for spending the time with us. And as of now, we heard you, we saw you as a movie star. After hearing whatever you have done, is so amazing to hear. So inspiration to so many people. Thank you. Very good. And I came from a small village which I'm very proud of in India, in Andhra Pradesh, and that's where Ekal immediately connected me. To be very honest with you, then I saw what is this Ekal, what is this doing. So government has so many funding. Everyone's saying everyone has to get educated. The place where we came from, so we didn't see much need of Ekal kind of schools. So then I visited Dehradun and we did some projects there. I saw so many hilly areas and where they don't even have a basic needs. Forget about education, they don't even have basic needs. Then I found Ekal is one of the best source for these people to get help. So where government cannot do it. Then that's where we got connected. Even we did some work, giving back to the society where we came from. And then when I saw some of the places in Dehradun, not Dehradun, it's Darchula. I came from south and I went to Darchula, which is next to Nepal area, next to Nepal. We wanted to do some project there through the government and we got all the approvals. The problem is we need internet there. They don't even have a telephone signal.
Electricity was also
The electricity was also not there. When we saw the villages, I don't know how, I saw different world than what we imagined. And that's where I thought Ekal is really needed for so many places in India. And when I saw what Ekal is doing, how with the contribution of so many people, how so many people and lives can be transformed, the needy people, that's where I got connected. Especially it is helping the villages which where I came from. And not only the education is in all respects of the education. For example, agriculture,
Health also.
agriculture, health,
Yeah.
and
Digital learning.
digital learning, and the most important thing, what we really need, I found in life is, actually, the food grains that that India is producing has so many issues. So many people are getting health so many people has health issues because of the fertilizers that we're using.
Pesticides also.
And so many, not just now, so many areas. So now that's what organic farming in Ekal is the best source, which if you can market, which is really impressive. It's not just feeding the life of people who are growing those kind of vegetables, but they are helping the community back by providing the best source of the food, the best quality food. So all this really impressed me, that too. So we can do some donation and leave, but after what Pratibha is doing, 24/7. So honestly, everyone is telling it is coming from her heart. So many times, even when she sends, sometimes I forgot to respond. After so many times, you might have really.
No, I know all of you are busy.
So-
I'm the one who has the time to do all of this. Yeah.
No, that see,
really.
You are the one who's the most
following up,
busiest.
following up with people, trying to bring everyone together. It's not an easy task for a good cause, not for a business, for a good cause. That's what is so impressive. And then we started really loving Ekal. Then when my son wanted to do something back to India for pandemic, he did a lot of work for pandemic from here, and he went to our area in India, and he did some, adapting few schools, not Ekal. Then I thought, why do you want to do this? Why can't you join in Ekal? Then he did some work. He interacted with some Ekal young team. So I think you have introduced with some
The
people.
youth team of the national youth team of Ekal. So he connected with them.
Yeah, well, I think something super important for me is I grew up here. I was born in the United States, and hearing stories from my parents about immigrating from India and small villages, I think there was always a disconnect in my mind. Obviously, I visited India during the summers, but I think my experience was so much different than theirs. And, I'd see kids growing up in rural villages, living a life very different from me, and I wanted to do everything I could to give back and to get in touch with the Indian community. Something I always taken for granted is my education. Obviously, I've been provided an education by the United States school system, and that's something that a lot of people don't have access to. And seeing kids just not having access to books, things that I take for granted all of a sudden, not having shoes to walk to school, I felt like I needed to do something to change that and to do everything I could. As I think I started when I was 15, as a 15-year-old in San Diego, everything I could to give back. And I started, adapting through what was happening in the pandemic and finding ways to raise money for oxygen concentrators and any humanitarian aid, PPE kits, masks, sanitizers, getting in touch with government officials, ASHA workers, so you could get 24-hour checks for villagers who just aren't receiving equal aid. I just wanted to do everything I could, but before that I volunteered at the Shaman School, which is a school in the middle of the slums of Isaac. So the way the infrastructure is there is that, you'd be in a 5-star hotel at one section of the city, and then you walk like, a few blocks, and then you're in the middle of the slums. So that obviously you're stuck in bubbles in whatever building you're in. And I think stepping outside of that and really working in these schools with kids much younger than me, my age, and doing everything I can to give back and use my privilege for good, that was super important for me. And I think working with the Ekal Youth Board was another great opportunity because, you know, it's a lot of kids like me with my interests who want to give back and use everything they have for good and, you know, meet other kids and communal interests and just do everything you can.
Awesome. That was a great thing. Thank you. You're in the right direction. Thank you, Daddy. You have given him the right sanskars, I would say. Yes.
Well done.
Thank you, Arya. And we have Vineet ji and Radhika Gupta here, who have been supporting Ekal for more than hundreds of schools, and we are very, very grateful to them, you know, connecting with Ekal and helping us. Yes.
Pratibha ji is the real
Culprit.
her infectious optimism, 24/7.
I like that term.
So I'll say, I saw you in Long Beach and you were in that golf cart and raising, you know, he knows how to raise money. I mean, it was
At the
fantastic.
gala, remember the
Oh
Los
my
Angeles
God,
gala
for
that we
hours
were
and
there?
hours. It went on till like 11 o'clock or midnight. No, I was just trying to think when we met, but I think it was a Ekal event. Both of our families, we have some sort of schools that have provided. My grandfather in Delhi did Bal Bharati schools. So Hansraji Gupta was in RSS, and so he was very charitable. So here once I met Pratibha ji, and I learnt about Ekal, and I thought the least and the lost amongst us, you know, where you're not even thinking about them, out of sight, out of mind. So, and जैसे रवि जी बोले कि I think it's an existential threat for them because education can come if they don't even have basic necessities of life. So I think Ekal does so much more, you know, and I own a small business, so I attended that when President Clinton was there, and he said, you know, education is the big equalizer. It's such a huge game changer. It's not just buying things, it brings self-esteem and self-respect to a human being that they've made it. And not just men or women, the whole, you know, you start to feel that you have some worth. And I think don't have to be rich, but having the ability to figure it out, it does come from education. Just to be able to afford a life, so it brings about a lot of self-respect. So I feel कि आपका cause, what you've got going is way more than all your prizes combined. But I mean, for people that don't know Mrs. Goyal, and I know you do very well, she comes from a family where there was so much charity. I mean, with Prakashji Goyal, anyone in Maharashtra BJP knows, but you know, even Mataji was like, I mean, really she did more actually than Bauji, but I think he got bigger. So I was lucky to go visit them, and I think I met, and there was this function going on, and I just felt that we had to do something. So I just initially went with a bunch of schools. We still haven't visited a school.
You must the next time.
I definitely would like to.
So thank you all, and if anybody has any comment, question, anything, please feel free before we go on to the dinner table. Yeah. So if anybody has anything to ask or comment, we are all
Maybe Vivek will say something.
donors here, okay? So it's not like that they are not donors and you guys are the only, we are all, yeah, but you know, positive.
I think the Karmic investment can be carried forward by providing a proper estate planning and utilize your own earned money to put a part as an Ekal, as a beneficiary on the estate planning. Probably that would kind of give you a complete karmic account,
absolutely.
right?
That's a good suggestion.
You
It's a
do
beautiful
it.
legacy.
Yeah, it goes for the legacy, where you put it rather than you wait for your kids to utilize their judgment where to distribute the money, and they probably won't have any idea what the Ekal is, or maybe they don't have no knowledge.
Like
the
next generation knows over here already.
But he is fortunate, very
Yes,
few,
yes.
not all of them. Yeah, so putting it right in the estate planning of the proceed goes upon the
Absolutely. So
that
we have a
would
lot of
be-
volunteers here whose children are now in the youth of Ekal. Like we have
That's
Maru
amazing.
and we have Savita, and you know, so a lot of children are Ekal volunteers already. Like you're saying that telling the next generation. Right.
Yeah.
I think it has already started that we have the next generation also connected with Ekal. Yeah. So anybody for any questions or comments? No, you good?
Maybe I can say something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, Vivek, thank you so much for all your comment. And see, all of us do some contribution or some donation here and there. But when a celebrity does, people follow. Okay, that's the unique sense. So what you are doing certainly is really very appreciable. I was actually focusing more. I'm associated with Ekal very, minimal way, to be honest. But my wife is now full on. However, in 1994, I just tell you a little story. Can I? Just a little story. In 1994, when I lost my dad, he had a kidney issue, and I was thinking that, and we were not very financially rich, financially not sound, not at all. And I was thinking somebody could come forward and help us, somebody. And it did not happen the way we wished, and it was quite late. But ultimately, my mom has to sell her gold stuff, jewelries to get some money. And we took him to, Bangalore, where he passed away. It was too late because it took so much time to, arrange that money. Then, that time I had realized that this has happened with me. But one day when I have money, I will not let that happen to anybody else. That feeling, selflessness, what we're talking about. So even now, I'm not so much focusing on education, helping education, but I'm focusing on health. So every week or other week, I'm putting some money. I'm going into this lot of like keto and a lot of organizations where I go and just pick up who need money, whose mother, whose father, whose son is really ill, and put some money there, selflessly. Because what I felt, I can feel it, that how other many father, many mother, many kids may be feeling the same way. So it's a sense of, I think, if you feel other pains as yours, you will naturally come out and do things for everybody else, right? So I'm doing it. I will do it. Even the concentrator, somebody said, I arranged 2 concentrators because why I was seeing that on television, people are dying. I went to LA to just, deliver that concentrator. So those things, unless you feel other people pain as yours, you cannot take an action. So we will keep doing it. But again, making the same point, when a celebrity does, people just gather. So when you find some time, you are not finding time to just collect. You can spend this time to make much more money by spending your time in making movies, right? But you are spending time for somebody else selflessly. So which is very appreciable. Thank you so much. Because I agree with you. Because it's not something, when you do something for somebody, you give, you get something. And that's a sense of satisfaction, sense of, it's a different feeling. I mean, which money and things, material things cannot bring it to you.
So you are proud. You have a nice son here, a very proud mother here. Yeah.
I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. Thank you, Gagan. I would like to say yes, Mansi.
Not everything, but time is very important. If not money, then even though if we can spend a little time for this Ekal Vidyalaya, it would be really great for children, who do not receive that education where that needs to be provided to them. So money is important, but time is really important because we are giving time, we are giving, it is a part of our life. I'm giving to you, it's not coming back to me, right? So it's all done now.
So she is a new recruit for the Ekal volunteering, and
I followed her from 2019 though.
It's my bad, I did not get her on board earlier.
Hi, first of all, thank you Vivek ji for coming here and inspiring us. It is so great for us volunteers to hear those stories from somebody else, and it just inspires us a lot. But I have to be very there's a truth when I came to Ekal, and I was associated with Pratibhaji for other reasons, long back. But I came to Ekal because I wanted my kids to learn something in this country, and this is the only way they can learn when they see their parents doing something. And I thought, you know what, if my kids would see me doing and volunteering and giving my time, maybe someday they will follow. And I started, slowly, little bit, whatever time I had, I started, asking Pratibhaji, okay, what can I do? How can I help? And my whole family is now volunteering with Ekal. And for many years, my son, youth, my husband is here, Puneet. He is, I'm trying to pull him, okay, sometimes, whatever you can do, just come here with me, at least support me. But I would just like other parents to just encourage, if you want your kids to do and help and have those sanskar, so those values, that will come when you contribute and they will follow you. So that's our story with Ekal.
Thank you.